Anyway, we're moving on to our third and final topic. This is actually the transition.
Yeah. All right.
There we go. We're back.
All right.
Because we cut, That was the cut. And then we're back. Okay, there we go.
All right.
What's your third topic?
Well, I was thinking it's been a while since we've been talking about actual games that we've been playing. What do we think of them? So I just thought we'd just give like a quick list. Like, what are you playing right now? Ryan, what are you playing right now?
I'm going to start from the top of the month.
Yeah.
So leading into the month, I was playing Grand Theft Auto 5. I was trying to go through all the story mode because I've done it before.
Right.
But I'm going through it on current console, so Xbox One.
Yeah.
I'm playing through all the stories. I'm doing all the side. Like, I'm doing everything I can.
100% in that single player.
Yeah, I'm finding, like, the little blue dots. I'm, like, the ones that just pop up and you got to go do that. I'm doing those.
Still, is it holding up?
Yeah, it's great. Like, I just love how, like, literally it's chance. Like, you just drove down the street and a blue dot popped up and you're like, okay, and I pull over, get out of the car, walk over. They're like, hey, man, get a car for us so we can get out of here. And so I'm like, okay, and I walk in, get a car, drive up. We get in the car and we escape. So there's things like that. It's Gus. The GTA 5 is just so good of a game. There's a reason why it's $60 still in the game. Still out. Because there's that much content in it that I will fully support that it's $60. It's a pain in the ass, but it's $60 for a good reason.
Yeah.
It's like if The Witcher is The Witcher still $60? No, not anymore. The Game of the Year isn't?
The Game of the Year edition you can get for around $40.
Dang. I would say like if that was to continue, like I mean GTA fluctuates, but it still
you
nails
can
on
find GTA
60.
on sale regularly.
But like I would think that Witcher would be another one where I'd be like, yeah, if that was $60 all the time, I'd totally be okay with that.
Yeah, no, so would I, but yeah.
During PAX, I played PUBG.
Yeah.
For the first time. I played it on the Xbox One and I played it on PC. I played it on PC first. I bought it on Steam when we were at BYOC, and so I was like, I bought it and I was playing it, and I was like, this is an awesome game. And then I went over to the Xbox booth and played that there, and a little bit buggy to the point where, like, I don't know, like the map was broken. So that was a little annoying because, like,
it is early access.
Well, it's also in kind of alpha, I guess you would say, on
PC
Xbox.
version? Oh, on Xbox.
No. On PC, it'd be technically beta, but on Xbox, it's technically alpha. Because, like, and I think they throw you in servers of PC players. Because I was like, how are there 100 people playing this game? Because we're the only ones. Yeah. And like Gamescom already happened, so and we like our gamer tags are named E3, like PUBG E3 at whatever. But anyway, I played PUBG on the Xbox. It runs perfect on it. Other than that, like mechanically, you will, if you've played PUBG on PC, you will instantly know what to do. The map is the same thing. Like it's perfect. It's other than like the map being broken, like the controls are exactly what you would think they would be, and they're awesome. And then I've been playing a lot of Destiny 2, and Destiny 2 has been ups and downs. Like I think the fun is kind of taken out of it because now I'm looking at it as a job perspective. So it's a grind. Yeah, I'm just trying to get to 260 to get the raid going. I'm still 200 at this point, so hopefully by the end of tonight I'll be at 260. I think that they do a terrible job on telling you where you need to go. Like I'll be in an area, wander off, and then they'll go, nope, not that way, and I'll be like, okay, and then I hit the map button to see like, is there a dot anywhere? There's no dot. And I'm like, okay. So I run back down the other way. And then they're like, nope, not this way. And I'm like, oh my God, just tell me where I need to go. Like, and then it turns out there's one guy still on the map that I have to kill. And I'm like, but what? why did his, I've like, the map's not my friend in that game. If you ask me what the story's about, I have no idea what the story's about. I think there's too far and few between to like tell you what the story is. I will say I do like oh gosh, what's her name? Oh man, she's an AI.
Cortana?
No, it's almost like that. But that's the ghost for you, so you're okay. That's Nathan Fillion's parts when he's playing what's his face. Again, see, this is the thing. Is like I've been playing it for like a week.
Cade 6.
And is that his name?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
Caden.
It's something like that. K6 or something like that. I don't know.
I thought it was Caden.
I don't know. But he's. I think
he's a. Sure
he's
Caden.
Okay, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's Caden.
But he talks.
The hunter dude, right? The hunter, like.
Yes, he's a hunter because he can teleport.
Robot guy.
Yes, he's he's pretty funny. Gosh, I really remember. I wish I can look it up, but I'll look it up during your thing, and I'll interrupt you on saying what it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, but the AI, there's like this computer robotic thing, and she's bipolar, like, cause she's like breaking up, like on her, she's like deteriorating on her part. So like, she'll say a sentence and then she'll rebuttal with it as like a down, like sad version of herself. She's like, we're almost done with the mission, but we might die. And like, she just refers to like those kind of things. And she's really awesome. Like, I really like that character style of it. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just wandering about. And again, I have a silent protagonist wandering about. And I'm like, yeah, I know it's me. And that's part of the, like, if I wasn't like unlocking things at a frequent pace, like, I don't know, man. Like, if I wasn't wanting to do a raid on Twitch, I probably would not play the game, or I probably wouldn't have gotten it. Yeah. Like, if Ashton didn't want to do it on Twitch, I probably wouldn't have gotten the game. But I'm not saying that it's a terrible game, because I do think it is a huge improvement on the first game. It's like if you got the Taken King on the first go. Like, it's pretty good for what it is. Okay. And a pretty good level progression. So I like it.
Because I don't plan on getting it anytime soon.
Yeah, I would. For you, I think you would really like it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of things to do in it. There's a lot of side missions, a lot of this kind of that. But yeah, I'd wait probably for the first DLC pack and go for it. Yeah, that's what I'm playing.
What about you, Quinn? What are you playing?
All right, so
list all those games.
I've been a little slow on playing games as of late, just
that's
because
fine.
I play.
What you into?
You have 3 here, don't you?
No, it's just 2. Games.
It's 2.
I've been playing a lot of games that are just like the require attention, competitive games, I guess, rather than story-based games. But I've been trying to play some story-based games because my collection keeps building, and I haven't played them, so I want to beat them. So the first game I got was Sigma Star Saga for the Game Boy Advance, and that game is made by WayForward, which makes Shantae and a few other games. They're like an indie company. A reason I got it is because typically I think physical copies of their games are a little rare, especially the original Shantae on Game Boy Color. I don't remember what it's for.
I have no idea.
That game is like $80 or $90 for a Game Boy game.
A physical copy?
Yeah. Well, because they didn't have digital.
Oh, that's right. Digital.
Well, they do have digital now, but when that game came out at the time, that was the only way to get that game. And so I wasn't sure how rare this game would be for Game Boy Advance or whatever. I just saw it at like $15-$20, and I was like, well, I like WayForward, so might as well.
Side note, her name is Failsafe. I knew it started with an F. Anyway, I told you I'd interrupt you through it, but I just want to make sure.
And so the game is actually kind of interesting. I didn't look. Normally, I look up videos before I purchase the game, but I was like, might as well check it out. So what it is it's split up into 2 sections. The one section is like a side-scrolling space shooter, sort of like, I don't know exactly. I don't know which one is it, because I know there's a lot that is like.
It's like a top-down.
Isn't Gradius sideways and you shoot?
If that's sideways and you shoot, then that's the perfect example. Because otherwise, I would say like the closest thing is like Asteroid or something like that.
Well, Asteroid's like, holy crap, that moth is huge.
Is it outside?
Yeah, it's outside, but it's like the size of a $50. Good Lord. Anyway, go ahead.
It was Mothra, but anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
But if Gradius is side scroll, that's the closest thing. And then it's split into a more overhead top-down RPG style. And then you can interact with characters that way, and then you can also battle enemies with that. You get like a little ray gun. And
you're saying this is a Game Boy Advance game?
Yeah.
Wow.
And there's
that's a lot of different mechanics.
Yeah, and it has different endings too, supposedly. And I guess I don't know if you get dialogue options. I'm not that far into these games. But what you can navigate, it's like an explorable galaxy, and you navigate planets, I guess. And I'm on the first planet right now, and you are able to get parts to upgrade your ship, so you can change how it shoots. Like if you want it to have an S shot or the power of the blast, and like if you do the certain missiles, and also you fly different ships, you can have like a fighter, or you can have like a cargo ship, and you can have
What?
You can have a cargo ship, and then you can
I'm just like,
you are
huge.
so distracted.
It is
by
so
this
freaking huge. Do
I need to close the blinds for you?
No.
All right.
And I don't know what the others are, but you
I
get
didn't know it was gonna distract him. I was just kind of like
those upgradable parts. So it's really cool that it's split up into those two things. And the story, it's all right so far. It's pretty.
It's okay.
It's pretty cliche. It's very.
I mean, it's a Game Boy Advance.
It
game,
seems like it's very. I feel like it might be on purpose. Well, it probably is on purpose. It's inspired by like 80s plot. It's like in the year 225, the world was working perfectly until alien invaders came by and attacked. The humans weren't ready, but we survived and pursued onwards. With the little information we got from that attack, we built up our technology and our defenses in case they ever came back. And then that's when the story starts, because they came back.
Not any of that action scene is like you just. Oh yeah, okay. Anyway, but
and you're like ex-rogue military cop guy who follows his own thing. It's like total like 80s sort of stupid plot. So yeah, and you can hook up with alien chicks and stuff. So
nice. It's right up your alley.
No, you're the one sitting over here getting all giggly about
mine was Elizabeth, who is a human being. So I just want to go on record there. It was not Tally.
And the other game.
I mean, I don't know how that works.
The other game I'm really excited to play is I've been meaning to get this for a while. There's a lot of chances where I can buy something online because I have the money, but a lot of times I like to wait till I see it in store just because I guess it feels more personal.
More fun.
Yeah, it's more fun, more personal, and it gives me more like, oh, this is cool, it's here, or whatever, rather than just like, well, this is online.
Well, also, yeah, I mean, online games can go for a lot more money. Like, Medal of Honor Frontline was going for like $35, $40. As a PlayStation 2 game.
Online.
And I bought it for $4.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, Pink Gorilla at PAX.
Holy cow.
Was that for used?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. Whatever Amazon was having it, I was not having it. So it's like, I'm not going to buy it here.
So the game is Radiant Historia. And have either of you guys played Chrono Trigger before?
No.
Okay.
I know
of it. I played Chrono Trigger, but like, because it's on NES Classic.
It's a Super Nintendo.
No, it's not.
It's a Super Nintendo game.
Right. No.
I think it's on the SNES Classic. Is it on the SNES?
It's a very, very.
I know Secret. I know.
On it,
I think Secret of Mana. Secret of Mana is on the NES Classic.
I like that
coming
game.
out.
That's a fun game.
And I think Chrono Trigger is on. It's a Square Enix game, so.
But
it's not tied up in any sort of like legal mumbo jumbo unless Square doesn't want them to put it on it. But or not Square Enix. It's a Square Soft game. Sorry.
I played that game.
Well, Final Fantasy made it on the NES.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Anyway, I played the DS version of the game, and the game is really cool. It's really fun. You travel. Okay, so I played Chrono Trigger. I'm talking about Chrono Trigger right now. I played that on the DS version of the game, and it's about traveling through time to stop the end of the world and stuff, and blah blah blah. And it has one really good music. Of course, a lot of people got really excited because it's a collaboration between Akira Toriyama, Dragon Ball Z, and Final Fantasy. So them having their two minds mashed together to make an RPG, everybody was like, "Ooh, that's really cool." And the game is pretty good, although like one thing that I just gotta say now is like since I played it after playing a lot more recent RPGs, it felt more standard now. I still think it's a really good game, but that only makes me think like if I had played it when it had come out in comparison to all the other RPGs, this was like groundbreaking. It was
sometimes you have to put your mind in the perspective of how this game impacted back then versus now.
Well, and how it was designed and stuff like that. I mean, even when you go back and look at, Mario was designed on graph paper. It's like you have to like think about these RPGs are running on probably a literal grid, and they're just moving back and forth and trying to figure out.
But it's really cool. You can go throughout time at any point in time. There's the future, there's the past, there's the current, and there's a few other times. And I think it might... Oh, I don't want to spoil it. It's not too big, but it's a pretty good game for the time that it came out. I would highly recommend anyone who likes RPGs to play it. The other... So
What? Nothing. Let's go ahead.
The game that I'm playing currently is Radiant Historia, which a lot of people say is sort of like inspired by Chrono Trigger, because it's another game that has to do with like time travel things. And you get this item called, it's the Historia or whatever. It's supposed to be the history of the world, essentially. And there's these checkpoints in the game that you reach that you can revert back to, and that's where there's the split paths or whatever. And there's supposed to be a whole bunch of different endings based off of what you choose. Like right now, I'm still in the prologue, which is really weird, and I've already made a choice because I can either stay with like this guild or I can join the army or something like that. And by staying with the guild, my logic was the guild guy, in the beginning, you're supposed to die or whatever, but you get the Historia and you revert time and survive the mission. And if I remember correctly, the guild guy was sort of setting you up to die, because I don't know why. It's probably something they explain.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I'll stay with the guild guy, because if I can stay closer to someone that is my enemy, then I'll have like a better chance. Well, it's a little bit of risky, high risk, high reward situation I place myself in. But if I go with the army, then I'm distancing myself away from the guy that was trying to kill me. So, and I won't have a chance to like get revenge or find out why. So I was like, I'm gonna go with that. And at any point, I believe, so long as you you get to the node where a change in time or destiny would occur, you can go back to that point. And I don't know exactly how it pans off. Like if your party members die, you can revert time, or you continue forward in the timeline where they're dead or whatever. So I think it's a really interesting concept right now. The combat's really fun because you have this grid and you can push enemies into other enemies into the same grid that they're attacking. And then when you attack, you're hitting both enemies if your enemies follow up on them. And the music, in typical, like, I'm pretty sure it's Square Enix that made the game, is... I can't remember the person that does the Final Fantasy music right now because so many Japanese names. But
yeah,
you know, they do Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts.
Just they're the composer.
The repertoire of game.
I normally know their name, but I can't remember right now. I'm pretty sure it's composed by them. The music is really, really, really good for a DS game. It's just... You got like it's obviously not like true live instruments or anything, but you can tell that it's supposed to be like percussion and stuff like that. And it's just even standard battles was like freaking awesome. And then I did my first like boss fight, and it was just like a thief guy. But the music, it played the boss battle theme just for that one battle. Wow. It was so cool. Even though it was such a basic battle though, because you don't have any other party members at that point, and it was just you and this thief, and it's just tacking back and forth because you can't knock him into other people because it's just him. So it's just like bam, 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 bam. And I was just like, this music's pretty cool though. So, which is a really big part of like RPGs back then, because they were so well, I don't mean like DS era, but for a lot of older RPGs and older games in general, why they had to have such strong music is because of how simple the games were. They like Mega Man, I don't think a lot of people would remember as well if it weren't for how good the songs were in the original Mega Man games. Yeah. Because I mean,
I know the soundtrack, even though I've never really played
exactly, and it's really iconic. And Mega Man doesn't change a lot and mechanically in a lot of his games because he has 8 in or 10 now in the originally 8, and for the longest time up to like through 6, the most he gained was like a charge shot and a slide, and then just the new power-ups from the Robot Masters. And the rest of the stuff was pretty much the same except for the music. Same thing about Mario. Mario has like really iconic songs, but most of the time it's just a side-scrolling platformer.
So mainly you've been You've been dabbling in the GBA in 2017.
Yeah, because I'm a handheld person.
Yes,
so,
no, I get it.
No, yeah.
That's why I'm like, when are you getting the Switch, man?
Yeah.
I've been waiting to get it.
It's weird.
Some of the games I was hyped for.
Yeah.
Really
I
weird.
see.
Yeah,
I
I
see
keep
them in
seeing
the
it.
cabinet
It's really
now.
weird.
Well, it's everyone's waiting for the SNES Classic and the NES Classic and stuff.
So I'll probably get a Switch sometime soon. Probably maybe 2018 or something.
Yeah, I mean, by then you'll have Zelda, you'll have Mario, you'll have Pokken, you'll have
you'll have a lot
pretty
more
much
of the
all the
games.
big 2017 games and all those indie games.
Yeah.
What about you, David? What have you been playing?
What have I been playing? Well,
Wrapping us up here.
I have been real busy on my PlayStation 4.
I've heard.
A month ago, I took a break from Persona 5 because a friend let me borrow a game that I had been waiting for years and years and years to play. I had it pre-ordered, paid for, good to go, and then my PlayStation 3 died, and I haven't had the opportunity to play it. A friend let me borrow it, so I had to put Persona 5 on hold and play it so I can get it back to him, and I finally got through The Last of Us. Mm-hmm. And, oh my God, so good.
I've still never played it.
So I'm not spoiling anything for you, but like that game is. I'm not gonna go into details about, but like just, the mechanics are so good. Like you feel there's just enough ammo to like survive and resources to survive, but you always feel like you don't have enough. But
yeah, I remember when like that game was talked about.
Yeah,
I was telling Christian about that when Game Crazy was still existing.
Yeah.
Like I remember I remember the moment. Like I turned around and we looked at the screen and I'm like, "That's the game, man. That's gonna be so cool." And he's like, "What does it do?" I'm like, "Dude, when you get shot, you bandage yourself up and you have that bandage forever." And I'm like, "That's cool." He's like, "That's cool, man." And then he got it. Then he played it before I got to play it. So I was like, "Oh, that sucks," but whatever.
I really enjoy the game. There are some twists in that game that I did not see coming, especially that ending. So good.
Yeah, I've seen the alternate ending to that, but I don't know what it means.
I won't go any further into it because I don't want to ruin it for you because I know it is one you really do want to play, and
I wanted to play it on an episode.
We can still do it.
Yeah,
we can still do it. After that, I went in and I played my Final Fantasy 12 remaster.
Turbo speed.
I literally burned through.
Oh, yeah, can you change the speed in that game?
Yeah, in that game you can play it at 2x speed or 4x speed. And because it's my favorite Final Fantasy game, single player Final Fantasy game. 11 is technically my favorite, but it's an MMO. That's a whole other debate. But it's my favorite single player Final Fantasy game because the story is so good, and the story is not the main protagonist. Vaughn is not the main character in the story. He is not the main character. The story revolves around the character Ash. Her right there. I know you can't see her on camera, but I have the miniature Play Arts Kai figure of her.
Not the goblin creature,
right?
No. That's her. I was like, all right.
I mean, goblins are cool too.
I was like, that's quite an interesting Final Fantasy.
She is the main character of the story. The story revolves around her. And Vaughn and Penelo are just friends that just happen upon her and going along on this amazing story of ruling of this kingdom caught in the middle of a war, and and somebody's trying to overthrow them. I really do enjoy the story, and I really enjoy the soundtrack. The combat is also some of my favorite. I know it's really decisive, and a lot of people don't like it, and I understand why. But I really did like the gambit system. When you like master and understand how the gambit system works, and because basically the way it works is you get like you unlock these slots that you give your characters in your party to play because you don't play them, the AI does, but you tell them what to do. So it's like, hey, if a character has less than 80% health, cast Cure on them. If a character is blinded, cast Blindness on them. If you're not doing any of those supporting jobs, target party leaders, target and attack, or if target is weak to fire, cast fire. And if you set those up like just right, and you know how to work it like I do, I put that game on 4x mode, 4x speed, and just plowed through it.
Nice.
And it was very satisfying. The boss fights I did in real time. I didn't go off and do any of the.
You're just main questing it.
I just did the main quest, yeah, because there's this whole trove. What were they called? I can't remember. There's this whole bounty hunter thing where you can go out and find like rare creatures and like big bosses, and these like bosses that like your gambit systems have to be individualized on point for these bosses, or you have to go through and play it in like in old turn-based style where it's like, all right, he's doing a thing, stop the time, what's he doing, all right, I gotta switch to this character to start casting this thing from the, and those bosses near the end are ridiculously hard, and I didn't go through them on remaster. I did go through all of them on the original PlayStation 2 launch, and those bosses took hours to beat, like hours.
And the reason why you didn't want to spend hours on it is because you've been playing another game though.
Yeah, I picked up a game on sale while it was on sale because it's one of the games that it was one of the reasons why I bought a PlayStation 4.
It was your really early PS4 bucket list kind of thing.
Yeah,
like you were going through all of like what you wanted to play.
Yeah, and I had gotten to the point to where other than not finishing Persona 5, because that ever since I got The Last of Us, that's kind of been on hold. And I'm going to go back to it after I finish this particular game when I'm done with it. But this one was on the list, and oh my God, I love this game. You have no idea how much I love this game. It is so good. It's so unique. It is Nier Automata, and it is a pure gem of a game. I really, really want you guys to play it at some point.
I was planning to anyway. So.
It's just so unique. It's not perfect. But it's so unique and it's so interesting, and there's so much depth to the story, to the world, and to the and somewhat to the combat. The combat system can get broken easily, because it uses a chip system, and you can get chips that can, like, when you don't take damage for 6 seconds, you'll heal over time. When you kill an enemy, you get 10% health back. When you deal damage, you'll heal for 15% of that damage. If you put those chips in, the game, you basically can't die.
Interesting. So they're like skulls in Halo.
Yeah, kind of. Except your chips are literally what your character can do. Like if you want to do a certain ability, you have to insert a chip, but you can only put in 128 chips. You only have 128 slots for a chip, but chips can take up multiple slots. So it's like if I want to have 60% less damage taken from melee attacks, that could be a 21 slot. So 21 slots of that 128 will be taken up by that.
So it's a little bit inventory management.
How much
Kingdom
Hearts 358 did you play?
358.
Because it had
like
something like that.
And I was, again, wisdom teeth taken out, so I'm a little bit.
Because it had something like that where it lets you double jump, or you could input something that lets you glide or something like that.
The thing with this game is if you want to be able to attack, if you want to see your health bar, if you want to see your XP bar, if you want to be able to just do basic functions, you have to have a chip in for it. If you take that chip out, you don't see your health bar. You can't even see.
Wow. That's kind of cool.
There's an OS chip in it. You take out the OS chip, you are killing yourself because you're playing as an Android. You just removed your operating system. And so your character just dies.
So you haven't beaten it yet, though.
There are 26 endings to the game.
Mm-hmm.
There are 5 main endings to get the full story. The rest of them are just kind of fail throwaway endings. I've gotten a couple of those by accident.
Now you're not. Are you restarting, or are you just going back to a save point and going?
So the way this game works is,
if you could quickly do it,
I'll do it quickly not to spoil things. Okay. So there's the first 4. There's the first 4 endings are just kind of back to back. So the first 3, I should say, that you get. Okay. So there's A ending, B ending, and then on your third playthrough, you can either get the C or the D ending. Okay. But your first 2 is always A. Your second one is always B. And then C and D literally comes down to a choice that you make. Now, I haven't finished my third playthrough, so I haven't made that choice yet.
So you do have to start over?
So here's how it works. Your first playthrough, you play as 2B, which is the girl character.
Okay.
Your second playthrough, she has a partner in that game called 9S. In your second playthrough, you play that same story, but you play as 9S. And there are parts in that story.
So the game knows you've beaten it one time?
Yes.
That is so weird.
No, there's so many like fourth wall and like super meta things about this game. And so when you go to do New Game Plus, you are thrown in as 2B. And you do, because there are moments in the game where you are in your first playthrough, there are moments where you're by yourself and 9S is off doing his own thing. Well, in your second playthrough, you're 9S off doing those own things. Or like in boss fights, 9S will go off and do his own little thing to help you with the boss fight.
Yeah.
So in those boss fights, he'll do those same boss fights, but you're doing 9S's part. He'll be like over here, 9B's over here.
Wow.
That's
pretty
why
cool.
I'm telling you, this game is so awesome. And then your third playthrough, okay, when you finish your second playthrough with 9S, you get those two, that story, because you get both sides of that story. Because there's certain things 2B learns, and there's certain things 9S learns, but they don't tell each other. And especially there's a bomb dropped on the end of 9S, and I'm not going to spoil. But after you beat it with 9S, your third play, when you start your New Game Plus, that game takes place. You don't start from where you started with those two. That game starts at the end of their ending those two playthroughs.
So you essentially have you have two games in one.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
No, I'm telling you, this game is
so when you beat it twice, you unlock a game. You unlock a new game. You unlock
basically the rest of the story.
You unlock 2. You unlock near 2.
And I'm not to spoil anything. The majority of that third playthrough is not as 9S or 2B.
Wow.
It's
That's pretty cool.
And then at the end of that, there's a decision that will either let you say you get the C ending or the D ending, and then there's also the E ending. But I don't want to get the E ending because it does a thing that I don't want to have happen yet.
Okay.
But after those 4 endings, I've gotten 3 accidental endings, and the most of those accidental endings are like, the game wants you to go, like, emergency has happened and there's something up here, you got to go to it right away. And I was like, well, I'm gonna do the side quest first. 9S abandoned his objective, and then roll credits, load screen, you're back to where you were.
Okay.
And one of the endings is on your very first playthrough, because this is just a basic one. On your very first playthrough, when you get control of 2B for the very first time, just pull the operating chip out, your operating system chip out, and that'll get you an ending right there.
So did you looked these all up? Bro.
After my second playthrough, because I knew the game in terms of the endings were gonna get a lot different.
You wanted to know the gist, not the full.
I didn't really go for. I tried to do as spoiler free as I could, because I wanted to make sure I was doing the right thing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's and the gameplay mechanics in it are it's a hack and slash third person shooter,
platformer. I've seen some sort of platformer,
mini game, top down shooter, 2D platformer shooter, 2D platformer.
Yeah.
It does so many different things, and it does it well. I can't really think of any other negatives unless I want to be super nitpicky. Mm-hmm. The only negatives really I have to say about it is, one, if you use those healing chips, you can't die. Like, there's even a chip you can put in to where if your health goes below 30%, you'll automatically use a consumable. So like, I went through the second play. I have only died twice in that game, and they were just accidents. They were literally just accidents. They do sort of a Dark Souls thing where if you die, like in Dark Souls, when you die, your soul sit there.
And you got to go back and get it.
Yeah. When you die, all your chips are gone. All your chips that you have accumulated throughout the entire game.
So you have to go back and go get them.
Yeah, and if you die getting back to them, you lose all those chips.
Kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Well, that is
Nier
quite...
Automata. Automata, sorry. Play it. Seriously, play it. It is a gem. Like your first playthrough.
Yeah. We gotta...
Yeah, no, I'll wrap it up. My first playthrough was about 23 hours. My second playthrough was about 8. 2B's part or 9S's part is kind of short, and I haven't finished my third yet. But I really want you guys to play it. Anybody who is super into games, this is just a game that it's just one of the games you got to check off that you played. It is an experience, and the sound. I think you would love it just for the soundtrack.
There you go.
It's so good.
Well, I already liked original Nier soundtrack because that's made by the guy who did Golden Sun, I think, and I love Golden Sun's music.
It's so good.
Which he also does Dark Souls music too.
Yeah, I could talk about Nier for days. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really glad I picked it up. So good. It is the first game that I've played where after I beat it, I immediately wanted to jump back into it.
That's good.
I can't say that about Horizon. I beat it and I'm like, yep, I'm good to go. Last of Us, same thing. Uncharted 4.
Last of Us is
a
one-time play.
Yeah, it is a one-time thing. But
for me, it was like the only game I've ever gone back and replayed over a couple times is Bioshock Infinite. Yeah. Well, I've never even Pokemon. I just keep going on Pokemon.
Oh. That's right. Why would you want to restart?
Yeah, because I lose all my Pokemon.
After this, I want to play a replay of a boss fight I did on it, just so you can see how ridiculous this is. Isn't there what do they call it? Bullet hells, where it's you got the dodge thing. You'll
I played the demo of it somewhere. I can't remember where. I think it played at PAX or something like that. But ladies and gentlemen, that is gonna be it. It is a long one, as it was. I guess we're just a 2-hour-long podcast.
Yeah,
we just can't contain it.
We just can't. We'll figure it out someday.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of episode 3. Or part 3 of episode 10. There's so many parts and bits and things like that.
Bitcade.
Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been...
Bitcade? Is that what we're going for?
Bitcade!
Are we playing it on your thing? Okay. When I do this...
Bitcade!
That's what we're going to do, okay? Well, there was a little octave change there. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been...
Bitcade!
And this has been episode 10. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for watching. Our social media links are down below. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Primal Target. We're also on Twitch, twitch.tv/Primal_Target. And we're on Twitter @Primal_Target. Thank you, David. Thank you, Quinn.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Quinn.
Thank you, Ryan.
Okay. Make sure you definitely check out the other things that are here on the channel. There are Let's Plays that are going to be happening a lot more. We're going to bring over the Twitch streams over here because they're going to be more frequently, hopefully, eventually. And so make sure you go check us out live on Twitch so you guys can be in the chat. And then later, you can tell your friends, hey, guess what? Go check this out. I said something funny in their chat. Believe me, I've heard it all, so don't try to think that you can stump me on it. Anyway... Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you subscribe to us right here on YouTube. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Good night, everybody.
Good night, or good morning, or good day.
Yeah.
Good life.